Oh, hi everybody. I've cleared energy, excuse me, and did an area cleansing. I'll do another one. And we're gonna jump right in the weekly reading for Sagittarius. This reading covers July 31st through August 6th, and is gonna talk about how you're feeling, what energies around you. These feelings can come and go. In 3 days or in a week, you might go through some tension. Maybe it's a spillover from last week or last month, but they always resolve or dissipate depending on the amount of energy you put on these thoughts or feelings, as they might then manifest into actual events. So, especially with you, Sagittarius, make sure that your energy is clear. Your Jupiter, your ruler, it's in Pisces conjunct Neptune. So that's going to affect you too. So be very, very mindful of energy states, feeling states, frequencies, vibrations. Um, for some reason, with the collective, with Sagittarius, there's a lot of heightened electromagnetic pull in the ethers. Yeah, yeah, there is. This is a collective reading, and of course, things may resonate, other things might not. If it does, take it and leave the rest. We have masculine and feminine energies. You could be a man embodying feminine energies, or you could be a female embodying masculine energies. So they could be interchangeable because we're both. I have here the general outlook perspective deck, and that is what I will be reading to see what energies are going to externalize around you, depending upon how you're feeling and how you are responding to these feeling states. Okay. And then we have the shadow aspect. Everything has a polarity, you know that. Everything has a counterpart. Emotions and feelings do also. They could be motivating these feeling states, or these shadow absent energies, quote unquote absent, because nothing disappears. Things will always linger and stay. It might have been packaged away nicely, and at some point in the cycle, something is triggered, an event, a memory, an experience that brings these energies out to the surface, undermining you because you've undermined these energies within yourself for so long. So you create a boomerang effect. That's what happens. And this is not just true of Sagittarius, it's true of all the signs. But in this particular month, in this particular week, there's a lot of electromagnetic uh, micro changes in air density. I know it sounds weird and maybe a little bit complicated, and it is. But believe it or not, these um, frequencies can affect brain frequencies and manipulate and alter sense perceptions. There are countries that engage in biological warfare over technology like this. But it's really technology only because we've externalized it. But we as humans have these capacities within us. Probably all the junk of the 98% of DNA that we don't still know how to decode or understand. Okay. These explain the transits of the planets and progressions and TTRA progressions and minor progressions. And I usually use TTRA because, these are just a couple of days. A week is just 5 days, 6 days. These are changing feelings, changing energies. Sometimes they linger though. So let's see, Sagittarius, what does the week of July 31st through August 6th brings us to? We are going to move the wheel and put Sagittarius on the ascendant. In mundane astrology, this is what is done. This is how it's done. I kind of like that. It looks like the moon, right? It looks like the moon. A card came out. A card flipped out. Here we have the Empress.
The Empress is very relaxed, majestic, beautiful, powerful. But it came out in the reverse. So maybe you're not feeling as majestic or as royal as you would like to feel, Sagittarius. Maybe like you're a little bit off your game. Just a little bit, just a tad. One thing though that can bring you back into balance this week is to spend time with your children or with children in general or spend time with family. You know, um, yeah, bring knowledge that can entertain somebody for the day and then plant a seed that can last a lifetime. Okay. Or you just can. I get here a sense, Sagittarius, that there's a restlessness. That spending time with family and friends is too provincial for you right now. I think you've had enough of that. We've had the COVID, and then we had the now we got the chicken pox or monkey pox, and there's always something going on. We can't move, or there's a quarantine, right? That hasn't really allowed you to expand and be your jolly buoyant self when it comes to lofty ideas or even traveling. I can imagine that a lot of you must have gotten to some level of frustration since travel has become almost impossible or difficult. And then, of course, as a Sagittarian, you can always travel inwardly. But you can't really do that if your mind is not at rest. And with the Empress in the reverse, there's a restlessness or a dissatisfaction at the current moment. Now, this could be founded on logic or it might not. It might just be a passing feeling, Sagittarius. Here we got wise counsel. So maybe this is a time for you to um, seek advice from somebody. Maybe you're stuck momentarily and you need some inspiration. Neptune is in Pisces conjunct Jupiter. You might be receiving some divinely inspired inspiration from the ethers. Allow yourself to be open and receptive to receive them, Sagittarius. Well, you will definitely, many of you in your feelings and going through some sadness, but as a true Sagittarian, there's an angel behind you, always protecting your thoughts and protecting the way you treat yourself. Because sometimes you can be very hard on yourself, Sag. We don't see it, but you do. And you are fine just the way you are, whether you're experiencing something or having a moment. Nothing that's not supposed to happen is going to happen. Right? It's in the reverse. So I think you're coming out of a doubt or a feeling of being of missing out on something. I see you becoming more buoyant and more jovial as the week reaches the weekend, and you kind of let yourself go. And maybe have a light company, or maybe go out on a local weekend trip, something like that. If you haven't planned that, I suggest you do if you have the means, and just go away for a weekend. You know, and just experience a breath of fresh air somewhere else. And it might not resolve your problems at the immediacy, but it will give you a pause. A much needed pause from being in your head. The polarity point, remember, is Gemini, and Gemini can be in their head. Yeah, here's the buoyancy that I was talking about. You're heading that way. Again, there's been some intense emotions, or maybe they were triggered by events and that caught you off guard. But the one thing about you, Sag, is that whatever you are going through emotionally, uh, existentially, physically, you always bounce back, and you don't really stay in a negative space for too long. I've actually never seen Sagittarius, go through an experience and stay there in a negative space. You are one of the most privileged signs of the zodiac that can actually bounce back rather quickly. But here we go again with the feelings of contemplation, reflection, and kind of like a little bit malcontent, like not quite satisfied with what you got, still concerned with what you want to achieve. And so many setbacks happening to you, around you, because again, even with society and what's going on in the world, um, it kind of sometimes messes with your outlook. It's something that you have to continuously stay on the alert about and make sure that you don't give too much energy to emotions that are just passerbys, nothing to really cry about. Okay. Uh-huh. Because God don't give us more than we can bear, Sag. And again, a moment is just that, a moment. And that's what I get here as a perspective. Pretty much you're pretty good, Sag. Otherwise, I don't see any specific issue or problems. But we do still gotta do the shadow side and see if there's anything underneath the psyche that might say surprise and get you and bite you in the eyes if you're not aware of it. If you're repressing something, it's gonna come out here. Okay, collector, what is the shadow for the week? That's fueling your fear of stagnating you, or giving you the fuel to move forward. It can work in either way. If you would like your reading, you can call me at 281-690-8825, or you can donate to at ZELLE 347-485-6258, or pay for reading is $40 for half an hour, $100 for an hour. It's a special rate that we're doing until September 19th. Or you can cash at me at Habakkuk, HABAKU number 5 and then K, Habakkuk. Or of course you can always PayPal me. The PayPal link is the People's Astro. We also do birth charts, and also we have courses online that we sell. And we have a school of astrology, and we're about to begin registration in 2 weeks. Seating is limited. If you want to know about it, you go to thepeoplesastrology.com and read the head of the New School of Alexandria, and everything is detailed for you. Okay, what is the shadow side here? Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, what is going on in the psyche, in the background, the backwoods psyche of Sag? Temperance, Sagittarius. You came out in your own reading, so really it's belief, undiluted confidence and belief that there is nothing that's going to get in your way or stop you from achieving your objectives. You might go into doubt sometimes, Sag. Keep that to a bare minimum. The Fool. Well, you might not want to be a fool or look like a fool, but sometimes you have to. You'd be surprised what you can learn. So don't be afraid to let loose and think that people are going to judge you for it. The Three of Wands, I did suspect this. You are looking for another direction, another option, and you're afraid that you won't find it, that there may be a stagnation there. No, aside, you control what goes into your mind. You don't let the content of your mind control you. You control the content, and you control the in and outflow of these contents. Here we have the Eight of Swords. terrified of being in a prison of your own thoughts. It's also an emotional prison where you don't know how to move forward because the emotions are somehow getting in the way of thinking clearly, logically. You're afraid deep down of losing this balance. The wheel of fortune, this is karma. So why is this here? Are you afraid of some karmic retribution that you're not talking about? Can this be fueling some anxiety that you're not talking about? hmm The magician. The magician with the wheel of fortune and the upright, you know, there might be some black arts or dark arts magic, either in theory or in some kind of communication, maybe with someone that belongs to a coven here, or maybe you follow someone's belief system that come from this kind of background, and maybe you feel a certain way about it. Is it real, or is it just some kind of philosophy, folklore that goes back before time? You're not sure. You don't seem to really want to find out either. The Knight of Wands. You have a kinky, erotic, and Don Juan side. This is your card, Sag. The Knight of Wands. What? You're afraid you're gonna overdo it? You can never overdo it, Sag. You got too much swag, right? So these shadow energies, precipitated by fear, don't seem to be for me too much of a big deal to stop you from moving forward this week. Okay, their thoughts can come and go. They can become an issue if you give them enough energy. So guard your frequencies. Okay, Sage, this might apply to some and not to others. Take what resonates.